Hello, everybody. This is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with bowls and week 15, make that week 16 of the NFL. I had a real good week, but it was a strange week. I was perfect in the pros until Pittsburgh Monday night, Sunday, and the Thursday and Saturday games. I was right on. San Diego as the dog, Buffalo over Denver, Tampa Bay came back nice for me. Everything won. And then I had Pitt on Monday night, which nobody could see that coming with Ryan Finley. And that's why you lose is the turnovers, right? Roethlisberger fumbles a couple of times, an interception. They were not ready to play, just like the Rams weren't ready to play. The Rams were looking ahead to Seattle. Uh, it happens in any college or pro when a real good team plays this weak team. They know, we're going to win. They don't get primed for it like in a big game. And so they fall flat. and that's what happens. Um, $100 buys you all the bowls in college playoffs. It buys you the rest of the year for 100. Just buy the weekly package of 100, and I will give you the password to take you through all the bowls and all the NFL playoffs to the Super Bowl. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. Um, I got a big 21 unit lock going. I have two locks going. A big 21 unit lock um, going, and hopefully COVID doesn't ruin it. COVID keeps ruining my locks. Tried locking Texas over Kansas twice because they were going to play and then reschedule. Um, One of my big games last week was the Alabama LSU game. I thought the spread was too high, 17. So I didn't want to take Alabama. I didn't trust Florida, so I took it over. And can you imagine Alabama playing a 98-point game? It's happening. My only loser in college on Saturday was, well, no, I had two losers, but Ohio State, which should have won the game by 28 points easily. They we lose. We're laying 20 down to 14. They lose by 12. They miss two field goals. They miss an extra point. They go for two on an extra point. He throws an interception in the end zone, which would have been a field goal. And they were down in the red zone three or four times that should have scored touchdowns. So, I mean, they should have had at least, another 14 to 17 points. And Northwestern wasn't going to score. They have no offense. So, anyway, that was the loser. I had some strange luck with the losers on Friday. They were in the same teaser. So it was a really weird week where I have two losers, but they're in the same teaser. So it's only one loss, not two losses or more. Because the way I bet, I'll put a team in two teasers. So that worked out well. And then I had a lot of college with pro, and all the pros won. So that was good. And I love my best with San Jose State over Boise. I love that game. And then Army was getting points from Air Force for some reason, so I love that one. Anyway, so I got a bunch of bowl games that I like, and then this week in the pros. This is the interesting week in the pros. And again, it's $100 special rest of the year. Buy the weekly. And I'll give you the password for all of it. So there you go. Interesting week in the pros because it's playoff week. And what that means is now teams need to win for the playoffs. There's extra incentive. You're not going to see the Rams lose to the Jets because they have Seattle coming up. So the teams that have to win, now it's not guaranteed that all the teams that have to win, as we saw Pittsburgh lose, and although they didn't need it as much as other teams do, but now they're not going to be the one seed. Kansas City, I don't know if they've already wrapped it up or they need one more win. But this is the interesting week. So I'm going to run down the NFL right now. Teams that need the game for the playoffs playing teams that are out of it. So it's New Orleans, it's Arizona, it's Cleveland, it's Chicago, it's kind of Washington, Baltimore. Again, I'm not sure now with Pittsburgh's loss what Kansas City has to do. Tampa Bay, and then Buffalo's really in, but maybe they can get the 2 seed, which I don't know what that matters much to them, but they've clinched the division. So don't really look at Buffalo as much. Now, the other games that are basically playoff games are Miami and Oakland. They both need the game. Indy and Pitt, they both need the game. LA and Seattle, they both need the game. Philly and Dallas, they both need the game. Tennessee, Green Bay, they both need the game. So these are played differently, like than the other games. So let me give you a game right off the bat. New Orleans laying 7 against Minnesota. I'm taking New Orleans -1. They obviously looked better against Breeze in the second half with Breeze against Kansas City. They got a strong defense, as KC noted. I had that game over. That was another game that I would have liked KC as the dog. Excuse me. I would have liked KC as the dog, but when they're 3.5-point favorites over New Orleans, New Orleans is an outstanding team. I don't like taking favorites when 2 A teams are playing together, and I was waiting for Drew Brees if he was going to play or not. So once I learned Drew Brees was playing, then the over bet took over, and it made it pretty comfortably. But that's what I like. So let's talk about that game. So this year, Minnesota's 8-6 overall, 11-3 against. They've been a bet against team. They are 4-1 as a road dog, but they're 3-2 against. And New Orleans is 5-1 as a home favorite, 5-1 against. So they play pretty close games at home. Same thing with Minnesota as a road dog. If I go to 19, Minnesota's only 8-3 as a road dog, 7-4 against. New Orleans is 10-4 as a home favorite, 11-3 against. We'll go back to 2018. Again, Minnesota's 11-5 as a road dog, 12-4 against, and New Orleans is 17-6 as a home favorite, 18-5 against. So New Orleans isn't that strong of a home favorite as you think they would be. If I go out to 2017, they're 25-6 as a home favorite, 81%. So that's probably a good look overall that they're a very strong home favorite. And Minnesota is just 12-6 as a road dog. So Minnesota's not a great road dog. New Orleans is pretty good as a home favorite. But now New Orleans needs the game because they're a game up on Tampa. They know Tampa's got the Lions. That's going to be a win for Tampa. So you've got New Orleans in a must-win game with Breeze back. So everything's good there, and they're playing really well. Their defense is extremely strong. We all know Minnesota, they'll try to run the ball with Cook. I mean, it's funny is they keep doing this strategy, and it keeps blowing up on them, where they run the ball with Cook, and then they end up losing the game because they don't score enough points. New Orleans defense will shut that down, leaving it to Cousins. Now, I do love Jefferson. He's the best receiver in the draft. I said that in my draft video, and he's proving out. See, he makes the good routes, and then he run after the catch. The Alabama receivers, Ruff on Oakland and the guy in Denver, Judy, they're just fast receivers. If they can beat you along, but otherwise they don't get open that much, and they don't really run after unless they're by you. Like, they're fast, but they're not. Like, Jefferson breaks tackles, and he can run good routes and make the third down catch. Where the Alabama guys are just basically speed. You're not looking for him on third down. Um, so that's why I like Jefferson. Let's look at the history here. So New Orleans scores 28 a game and gives up 21. A very strong A to B type of team. Certainly capable of beating anybody. Um, they throw for 244 a game. They run for 131, which in the pros is very good. So they get 376 a game. Now that's with Taysom Hill as the quarterback for 2 or 3 games, so that kind of hurt the average. But let's say it's about 400 with Breeze in there. And Breeze is rested now. He was out for 3 or 4 weeks. Is he 100%? No, but if he's able to play, he's healthy enough. Nobody's going out there with cracked ribs and a punctured lung, and you're playing. But he's got the flak jacket on. He played, and now so psychologically there. And now let's look at Minnesota. They score 26 a game with good offense, but they give up 28. Their defense is terrible. Offensively, they throw for 254 and run for 147 with Cook. So they're capable offensively, but we're making this bet based on their defense can't stop the wind. I mean, they got crushed by the Bears at home. Okay, they needed that game, and the Bears won. I had the Bears. That was one of my picks last week. But Minnesota, they don't, signing Cousins killed them because they had to let all their good defensive players go. They had like 6 or 7 All-Pros the last few years, and they had a great defense, and they had to let them go because they couldn't pay them, and they chose the wrong way. They chose Cousins instead of keeping the defense and drafting. They could have this year. They could draft the kid from Texas and the kid from SMU because Trevor Lawrence won't be there. I don't know if the kid from BYU is going to be eligible, but that guy's great. So there's plenty of quarterbacks out there. Don't let them kid you like it's Trevor Lawrence and nobody else. That's just people that don't know what they're talking about saying that. So let's see. So let's go into the quarterbacks. So anyway, I have New Orleans as an A team, and I have Minnesota as an over team, where they, give up 28 points, and they score. So could it be an over game? Maybe, but with this New Orleans defense, I'm less apt to go over. And Minnesota plays so weird that they play, let's run the ball and keep it away from Breeze instead of going to their strengths. They're just really badly coached. Let's go to the quarterbacks. So let's go to Drew Brees. All right, Drew Brees throws for 243 a game, 7 yards in an attempt, which is strong, 21 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. So he's not going to get you in a lot of trouble, as we know. He might have the odd interception, but he should be sharp after playing last week, and they're coming off of a loss, which actually I think they're coming off of 2 losses now because they lost to Philadelphia in that abortion, and now they've got, and then Kansas City, you can understand them losing. So they really need the game. And they need to hold on to first place over Tampa Bay. Kirk Cousins, on the other hand, he's got 29 touchdowns but 13 interceptions. He got sacked 34 times. Breeze has only been sacked 11, and he's fumbled the ball 7 times. He throws for 254 a game, so he causes a lot more problems, a lot more interceptions. 21-4 to 29-13. So you can see that problem. When we look at running, Dalvin Cook has 1,400 yards. and 15 touchdowns. So you know him. He's good. He barely fumbles, 3 fumbles. We look at New Orleans. We got Kamara, but on this offense, he's only got 777 yards. He does have 10 touchdowns, but he also catches the ball a lot better than Cook does. So you're dealing with a solid team in New Orleans. We know that. Minnesota has a very weak defense, and I mean, for New Orleans to put 28 up on Kansas City, who I'm wondering if they have a good defense or they're just waiting for the playoffs, because they don't show me. I mean, they give up to like Oakland and Denver. They give up a ton of points and a ton of yards, and they get bailed out by Mahomes. He bails them out. So you got to be careful there. So anyway, I'm betting against Minnesota's defense here. The fact New Orleans is at home and needs the game, and you have double or triple revenge. I'm not sure in the playoff losses that Minnesota has put on them, and it's been Minnesota's defense that won a few of the playoff games. The one in Minnie on the miracle catch, and then last year. So there's a lot of revenge going on for New Orleans in this game. Plus, they need it to win the division. Plus, they're on a 2-game losing streak. So there's so many things that are going for New Orleans in this game. So I love New Orleans here. And then let me give you the second game. Well, we're gonna have to go with Cleveland and the Jets. Cleveland is a road favorite, 3-0 this year, 11-3 against the number, 2-1 against. Cleveland was a terrible road favorite till recently. They're playing well. Chubb's back, so they're balanced, and their defense is good. I'll talk about that in a minute. The Jets, 3-3 is a home dog, 6-0 against, 13-1 against. Again, they were 13-0 until the Rams, so they won at LA. This game's in New York. Bad weather won't bother Cleveland. They seem to be very adaptable, Cleveland. Without Beckham, they haven't really missed a beat. If I go back a year, Cleveland's only 4-4 as a road favorite. So, like I said, they've hit a peak this year, 6-2 against as a road favorite. The Jets 7-5 as a home dog, 8-4 against. They're 23-7 against, 77% in the last 2 years. And if I go back to 2018, they're 10-6 as a home dog, but 12-4 against as a home dog. So they lose at home, 36-10 against, 78%. Cleveland still 4-4, 6-2. So you can see they weren't a road favorite in 2018. So they've really turned it around. If I look at the numbers on their offense, on the points, Cleveland scores 26 a game, gives up 27, so they don't have that great of a defense. Mayfield, they throw for 230 a game, but they run for 152. So they're a very strong running team, which is critical because if you look at Roethlisberger last week, what did he do? He fumbles the snap, he throws some interceptions. That's how the better team loses. But if you can run the ball, unless it's a fumble, some freaky fumbles, you're going to control the game, and then you can pass when you want to, and it's less apt to the turnovers and less apt to getting upset. The Jets, as we know, are the worst. 15 points a game. They give up 30. They throw for only 187. They can't even throw for 200 a game. They only run for 100. So, again, we could look at this against the Rams, and you'd say, with that defense, that they'd get shut out. But, see, I didn't like the game last week because I don't like laying 17 in the pros. I don't like laying over 13 in the pros. If I can't get it under a touchdown, and it better be a strong team, I'm not. I'm not messing around. It's still the thing you got to realize in the pros are all pro players, even though some are better than others. It's not like it's New Mexico State out there against Alabama. In college, you have that big talent discrepancy. Discrepancy. God, I can't think of the word. Um, but in the pros, you don't. I mean, all the players on the Jets are pros. Darnell, he's okay as a quarter. I don't love him, but he's okay. He's still a pro quarterback. Their defense, they have defensive players. They have, offensive players. The difference with the Jets is their coach is terrible. Somehow they got the win. I assume Jared Goff threw 3 or 4 interceptions, which cost the Rams the game. That's the problem with Jared Goff, and why it's hard to bet on the Rams because you can't trust Goff. Um, but that's what I see here. So the Jets to upset the Rams, but they got that upset again in the playoffs. Cleveland must win this game. Otherwise Baltimore will pass them, and they're in trouble. So this is a must win for Cleveland. You're laying 9.5. So it's only a field goal. So it's I don't like it as much as I like New Orleans because I can trust Drew Brees. Mayfield, I'm starting to trust. A little trend on Cleveland here. And that's what I see. So take Cleveland minus if you can get 3 or 3.5. New Orleans definitely -1. That's the pro plays. So let's get into the heads up where we have heads up in the division. Frisco and Arizona. Arizona is the play here. They're 11-1 the last 12 in the series. If it's in Arizona or in Frisco, Arizona's 11-1. Arizona's 5-1 in Arizona, and the Dogs 5-1. Arizona's probably been the dog most of the time because Frisco's been good, but here Frisco's injured. Also, Frisco doesn't have their first or second team quarterback. The third string's okay. He's probably just as good as the other two because they don't really have a good quarterback. I mean, I don't mind Mullins. Garoppolo, he's way overrated. I don't like him. Not as a starter. He's probably a good backup. Um, so anyway, this is an Arizona trend in the series. Um, Denver, San Diego. The dog is 14-3. That would be Denver. Check the injuries, but I think everybody's playing on Denver. I think Bosa's questionable and Melvin Ingram's out. So San Diego's defense is going to be a little hurt. Denver's been scoring points. So Denver, this game should be a very competitive game. The Rams in Seattle. LA and the dog are 7-1 the last 8 in Seattle. The dog is 11-1 in this series. Seattle is a terrible home favorite. So Seattle's -1.5. So right now the bet's the Rams and 7.5. These games seem to be always close. Even in Seattle, for some reason Seattle is not that dominant of a home favorite. It's like Baltimore. Baltimore is not as dominant of a home favorite as you would think they were. And they were for a while, but I think with Lamar Jackson, he brought it down like 2 years ago or last year, but this year they're like 3-3 as a home favorite, so they're not. So Seattle's also a team that you go, oh wow, they get that home field advantage, but they really don't. I mean, or the spreads are overdeveloped. So they're laying, instead of laying 3, they're laying 7, and then they win. But if you bet against them, you'd win. So, I mean, they lost to the freaking Giants at home, so there's no home field for Seattle. The Rams have the better defense here. Wilson's 100 times better than Jared Goff. So that's what it comes down to is Goff having a big day against Seattle's defense. Seattle having a tough time against Arnold. So, that's what it looks like. It should be close. Take the dog in that one. Again, it's a playoff game. And I think when teams like the Rams lose to the Jets, Pittsburgh loses to Cincinnati, they tend to get pissed off the next week. I think they're embarrassed. I'm sure the Rams are embarrassed losing to the Jets, but fortunately, this is a playoff game, so they go, okay, let's focus on beating Seattle. So it wipes away quickly the competition. Philly and Dallas. Dallas is 9-2 as the dog in the series. The favorite is 10-2 in Dallas. The Dogs 5-0 the last 5 in Dallas. Phillies 5-1, 7-1, 5-1 as the favorite. This is a real mixed bag. This is like take Philly as the favorite, but Dallas is a strong dog. And in this situation, it's just look at injuries. Jalen Hurts, he couldn't throw the ball at Oklahoma. He would score a lot on running the ball. So Oklahoma's philosophy is we're going to have real fast receivers that are going to run down the field and spread it out. And then we're going to have a real fast quarterback, and his job is going to run as soon as the lane opens up. I mean, that's their plan. So they have a fast quarterback to run, not really to throw. So I'm a little surprised Jalen Hurts is as accurate as he's shown, but he's still a question mark. I couldn't play the Arizona game. I just looking at it, I like the over in the game, but I can't trust Jalen Hurts only playing 2 games, or actually 1 game at the time. So right now you have, can you trust Jalen Hurts? I do trust Andy Dalton. I don't know if Elliott's playing, but the backup was fine. So this is a tough game here because this probably be a real close game. Dalton will keep him in it, I think, and Dallas getting points at home. But this series is all tight games. And Buffalo, New England, there wasn't really any trends because you've got all the Tom Brady trends. So New England would kill Buffalo every year because they were the major competition. But without Brady and with Newton, you can't play New England based on Brady trends. And this is what you got to be careful of if you're doing team trends, is noticing, well, wait, they're all Brady. Now Tampa Bay, they were all Winston, so you really can't trust them. You got to trust, now you need a few years of Brady trend, but he's only going to be there 1 more year. So next year will be a lot of the Brady trend that you need to look at, and you can't go back 3 or 4 years. Although they've always been a good road favorite, even with Winston. So those are the head-to-head ones. So I have a couple of locks in there. And let's talk about the Bulls. So I've given you Minnesota in a must-win. And the only reason I'm giving you Cleveland is that it's a must-win, and it's against the Jets. And with Chubb and Mayfield, they'll win the game. The question is, are they going to, they did beat the Giants pretty good, so I'm looking for them to at least beat the Jets by 10. I can't imagine them losing to the Jets. You can see what Darnell's doing, so they get the film out on him, and they see what how to stop him, and the Jets will probably give him a decent game. It'll probably be a 7-point game here, but again, it's not one of my best, but it's again a playoff type bet that Cleveland needs the game, but I think they're a good team, and I think they'll get it. College bowls. I've had no time to look at this because I'm looking at last weekend. I don't even see these bowl picks. The next thing I know, I'm looking at bowl picks, and it's Christmas time, and all of a sudden 15 games pop up. So I had the BYU UCF game over. That won for me. It's about what I thought. I knew BYU would just torch UCF, but I thought UCF would put up 30. I thought it'd be an 80-point game. It was a 72-point game. I went over on the teaser, so it was a W. Um, as I go down the list, um, and you got to look for injuries and players sitting out. There's some strange ones. Um, let me give you a real. Let me give you a real strong play. Ball State against San Jose State. Now, as I told you, I took San Jose State plus 12 or 13 against Boise. So it's ballsy to play against Boise because you know Boise always wins the damn thing. And they had conference, and San Jose State crushed them. I mean, it was 34 to 20, and it wasn't even that close. San Jose State, very good defense. They got a good quarterback from Mississippi State because he left with the new system and with the Washington State coach. Uh, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Oh, wait, I have it right here. Rick Leach, Mike Leach. Rick Leach was the quarterback at U of M. So Mike Leach, Washington State, so he goes and brings the Stanford quarterback in. So the Starkle from Mississippi State goes to San Jose State. And San Jose State had a real good year last year and a real good quarterback, Josh Love, who Green Bay should have got, not Jordan Love. Josh Love was better than Jordan Love last year. Jordan Love really fell off because they had a change in coaching. He'll do nothing in the pros because he couldn't handle the college. Josh Love was very good at San Jose State, and I hope somebody picks him up. He'd be a good backup and a good starter if you ever gave him a chance. So they have a very good quarterback. So let's look at the numbers now. Ball State did surprise Buffalo last week, beating Buffalo, which I was just simply shocked. Ball State scores 34 a game, so they're a good offense, but they give up 28. I got them as an over team. Drew Pitt, the quarterback, they got some running, or at least they did against Buffalo. And they throw for 278 a game, run for 177, but not that. College, I'm looking for 220 to 300 yard games as good running teams. So I see Ball State as a good team, but then I see San Jose State beating Boise, and I go, okay, and I love them. San Jose State, here's the reason for the bet. They score 30, but they only give up 17. They're an A team. They beat Boise. When you have a strong defense, you beat over teams because they'll shut down the over team. They have a good running back in Nevins and Robinson, and Starkle is a very good quarterback. They throw for 300 a game and run for 142, and they get 443. They have a very strong defense. Key to the bet. San Jose State laying 7. Cut it to 1. I don't want to screw with the over-under here. It's 63. Seems a little high. When you have an A team against an over team, it's very hard to go over on the game because it's like BYU yesterday. BYU is an A team and UCF was an over team, and look what happened. The good defense of BYU really shut down UCF, and that's what tends to happen now because BYU is such an explosive team that it got over. And when you've got two strong quarterbacks, you can bet it over. But when you got a really strong defensive team with a good offense and a good running attack, playing a more over type of team who can throw, who scores but gives up a lot, it tends to be a little one-sided and it doesn't tend to get over. Not like the Alabama-Florida game. That over was based on neither team have a defense. Alabama does not have a defense against a team like Florida. They will have a better defense against Notre Dame. They're always good against the run, but Florida just threw the ball all over on them. And Florida doesn't have a defense, so Alabama was able to throw all over on them. So that's why it went over. Neither team really had a good defense, and both offenses were so outstanding that was going to get a high scoring game. But Alabama is not really um, what you'd say. Well, they're probably close to it. Let me see. What do I rank them? Sorry to jump, but that's Teaser King. Well, yeah, they give up 19 a game. So, but it was Florida's offense and defense they got because Florida scores 41, and I knew they were. I've seen Alabama like against Mississippi. I'm surprised it's 19 the way they played Mississippi and some other teams, but they give up against the pass. Alabama's not as strong. Anyway, so normally in this type of game, what you'll find is San Jose State running and getting first downs and killing the clock, and Ball State struggling against their defense. So let's look at Nick Starkel. 7 games, so that's good. He's played enough with this team. 65%, which they throw shorter now, so the percentage is skewed. Throws for 272 a game. So, if you're behind, he can throw, but he can also throw. They got good receivers from what I could see. 16 touchdowns and only 4 picks. That's my type of guy. Um, doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. You're not going to get beat by the quarterback throwing 4 interceptions, which is what happened to Buffalo last week. They had turnovers, and that always kills them. Then if we go to Ball State, Drew Pitt, 7 games, 278 a game, 16 touchdowns and 6 picks. So like I said, their problem is not offense. Ball State. Let me go into the Ball State as a road dog is 8-3, 6-5 against since 2019. And if we look at San Jose State, they're 0-1 as a road favorite. They're just not been. They're a real strong dog. They were 10-1 as a road dog, which is one of the reasons I took them. But mostly it was just they're a really good team this year. So there's nothing you can do. They haven't been the favorite that much. If I go back to 18, they probably haven't been the favorite there either. They just started getting better the last year, and a couple years ago they were terrible. Then they get a new coach. Yeah, they're just 1-1 as a road favorite. Nothing to really look at. But that's what happens. So new coach comes in. All of a sudden, what does he do? He works on the defense. All of a sudden, Josh Love gets better. Now he brings in Starkall, who really lights it up, an SEC quarterback, and they're 443 a game on offense, and they give up 17 a game. So this is a very solid play. I don't know where the game's at yet, but I don't think that matters. I don't think it's in Indiana where Ball State is, so I think we're safe there. So that's a very strong play, San Jose State. Um, that's about it. I've got about 7 or 8 really strong college plays. San Jose State's one of them. Um, like I said, I hit the UCF over yesterday, and I'll definitely be playing Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. Um, Now you've got to be careful these teams with the players sitting out. Florida's stud tight end Pitts is sitting out for the NFL draft, which I hate. But I still think Florida is. I don't. That's not a problem here. They're playing Oklahoma. Um, Oklahoma's they give up 22 a game, so Florida will still light them up. Oklahoma will light up Florida. North Carolina, I think their running backs are sitting out. They have good running backs. It's funny how the Notre Dame, Alabama, and Ohio State, Clemson kids aren't sitting out. Well, Ohio State had some kids sitting out. They didn't think the Big Ten was playing, and I don't know. I guess they can't come in once they say we're not playing. I don't know. I thought it was really strange, but so Ohio State does have kids sitting out, and then you've got the sore thumb of Fields, who I'm sorry, that guy does not look like a number 2 draft pick. And you got to keep in mind, it's like the Washington quarterback. These guys look good in college against weak defenses, against Purdue and Minnesota. They look good against Maryland and Rutgers when Rutgers sucked the last few years. But it's a style that's a college style, right? The quarterback runs a lot. He's got good receivers and running backs, so he's got great balance. He's got far better balance in college with a much better skill set of players than he's going to have in the pros. Look at Joe Burrow. He had more pros on his team at LSU last year than he has at Cincinnati. He's got so many better players at LSU than Cincinnati wishes they had. And they had balance, which is something Cincinnati lacks. So when they come into the NFL, these Ohio State quarterbacks, I'm sorry, they aren't. It doesn't fit. They can't. They wanna run, which you can't. You start getting injured. As a quarterback, you can see they're not very talented. Let's go back to Washington. I can't. What's his name? Um, Haskins. Sorry, Dwayne Haskins. Excuse me. Must be too much dust here when I talk to you. So Dwayne Haskins. If we look at him to get a preview of Fields, so he's played in 6 games. He's thrown for 214 yards a game, 5 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. And that's the difference. Dwayne Haskins didn't throw 5 interceptions last year at Ohio State. Let's see, what was his Dwayne Haskins? I have his 19 stats. I need his 18 stats. That's the beautiful thing about Teaserking. I have a big spreadsheet, so it has many years on it, so I can look back. So I go back to 18. Okay, so Dwayne Haskins in 2018 had 50 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in 14 games, which included playoff games. He threw for 345 a game. This is what the Ohio State quarterback does. This year, we go to Fields, and Fields in 6 games, 15 touchdowns, 5 picks, 253 a game. So you can see now this is kind of a weird year, so let's go back to last year. Fields, 233 a game, 41 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Right? 41 and 3. Oh, he's God. And then you look at him this year, and he's 15 and 5. He's got more interceptions in only 6 games than he did all last year, which included a playoff game with Clemson. And again, Haskins, 50 and 8, throws for 350 a game, and in the NFL, it doesn't translate. He's got 214 yards a game, 5 touchdowns, 5 picks. This is what I'm saying. I'm not high. I'd rather get Buechele from Texas or the kid from SMU, both outstanding. And if you can get the kid from BYU, if he comes out, I'm not sure if the kid from UCF is coming out. Not Mackenzie Milton, the one this year, but I think he's a sophomore. The kid from Texas is much better than Fields, and that's a nice late first round, early second round pick if he's still there. I still love Jake Fromm, who went to Buffalo. Why do you think Josh Allen's playing so well? Because he knows Jake Fromm's right there. Jake Fromm's much better than Josh Allen as far as being a quarterback. Josh Allen runs too much. It looks good now until he hurts his knee and pulls a Dak Prescott, and then all of a sudden, that's why you don't want a running quarterback. It's a Dak Prescott, right? As soon as he does that crap, or a Garoppolo, then Garoppolo's done. Prescott's done. I mean, I'd rather have a healthy Andy Dalton than Prescott. And is Prescott going to run anymore after breaking his ankle the way he broke it? I don't know. He'll be curious about it. But this is these quarterbacks. Russell Wilson has it right. You get your yards, you slide down. You don't take the hit. And all I see is Hurts and most of these guys are taking the hit like a bunch of idiots. And it's just a matter of getting that wrong hit, and you're done. And then once you get that injury, you're done because you're going to have it in the mind. I can't run. I'm going to break my leg again or whatever. Anyway, so NFL, please be cognizant. It's playoff week. I gave you 2 playoff games. The New Orleans must win against Minnie, and I gave you all the teams, so you know who needs it. And then I gave you Cleveland because they're playing the Jets, and they're only laying 3 or 3.5. That I don't really. I mean, you can't really play the Jets, and I don't really, I don't love Cleveland. But I do think Cleveland here in this situation has Pittsburgh next week. Now, where the Rams were looking ahead at Seattle, Cleveland cannot look ahead to Pittsburgh because they got to win the game because Baltimore is going to win their game. They're playing the Giants. And off you go. So do be careful with Baltimore because they're a lousy home favorite, but they are playing rather well. They're laying 10, and I don't trust Lamar Jackson too much unless he can run. So the Giants did get killed by Arizona, so that could be a thing to look at. Definitely comes into play, teams that need the game for the playoffs. That's how I hit my 11-team teaser and my 10-team teaser. That's posted on the Teaserking Twitter. They're posted, and I think it's posted on my homepage. And it was one of these weeks like this one or the next. I think it was the last week, and all the 1 seeds needed to win, and all the 2 seeds needed to win to keep the 1 and 2 and keep the bye. Then you had certain playoff teams that were playing non-playoff, and it just all fell into place. There was 8 or 9 of those type of games, and I hit a few college games, and that was the Florida State over Auburn play that I won so much money on. But that's what happened. So there you go. College takes San Jose State over Ball State. Ball State's a good offensive team. I was shocked they beat Buffalo, but they got that win. But now San Jose State with beating Boise. And just look out. They got a very strong defense. That's what we're betting on. I'll probably do one. Yeah, next week I'll probably do it on the 29th. We'll have the New Year's Day games and the Week 17 NFL. So I'm saving the Jan 1 games for that. So there you go. This is the Teaser King. Good luck. Again, $100 buys you the rest of the year. Just buy the weekly package, which costs $100, and I'll send you the rest of the year package or password. All right, everybody. Well, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, Happy whatever else. Have a nice holiday season and just enjoy the football. It's getting harder and harder to enjoy the way they keep breaking away for instant replay 5-minute timeouts, injury 5-minute timeouts. It's insane. The announcers are terrible. Yet we're watching for the action. So anyway, have a great holiday. www.teaserking.com. And if you have any questions, email me. It's on the site. And good luck to everybody. And again, happy holidays.